Hey everyone, my friend Stephanie and I have been working my space at Tower Avenue Antiques. I'm really glad to have a buddy to help today because I'm bringing in a lot of stuff and a lot of it didn't go to Portland. It's fresh to the Northwest, and I'm getting ready because we have Antique Fest on the first weekend of August, and I'll be doing appraisal Saturday and Sunday. There's a lot of nice merchandise in here and the displays look pretty good. I had the best month I ever had here last month, and so it was pretty empty, but we've managed to put in a whole case full of salt and pepper shakers, the really wonderful steamer trunk, and a whole bunch of nice linens that really display well with it, I think. I don't think that's going to last very long. It takes up a lot of space, but this is a nice broad booth and you can still get around in it. There are different things on the wall that have not been here before. I like these 1940s calendars. This is the beginning of what will be a plethora of wall pockets appearing in this space. We have a plethora of silhouettes. We have some interesting promo cars, and some of this has been here and some of this is fresh. But it's all this kind of fun stuff that we tend to sell a lot to in the summer to tourists, and we've been a lot through already. I like to have an area that is more sort of funky, fun advertising. The little sterilizer cabinet's been here a while, but I think I have it looking better. And the roast nuts box is brand new, along with these 1950s era little stubby beer bottles, which I think are cute. We set up a little bit of a patriotic area there, more advertising, Washington linens. This didn't sell on eBay, it should have. It wasn't paid for, and so it's here now. We are in a coal mining town here in Centralia as well. Bunch of World's Fair stuff that is a mass now. World's Fairs including Seattle, Spokane, Golden Gate in 1939, and the original Seattle World's Fair, the AYPE. Stephanie hadn't seen one of these before, and I will spare for the editing room what she thought it might be, but it is actually a net weight from fishing nets used along the Columbia River before they dammed all of it. When you've done a big change the last time, you bring in things and you add more than anything else. So we added these beautiful Czech glass vases. At the Portland Rose City show, we were told that they are probably a different company other than Mosier, but of similar quality and of the same time frame. And then there's this nice bas-relief, which got really tucked away at that show and really wasn't seen by anybody, even though it made an appearance. A pair of nice Staffordshire figures. So we tried to bring some interesting old line antiques in here, real antiques, because we do find some collectors for them. There's a lot of Victorian homes in this part of Washington and heading down into Oregon. There's our net weight. Again, this was more of an add and rearrange. We put both moccasins out and the seed pods out where you can get them. Little seeds come out of these little holes, and someone did a bunch of different decorations based on various tribes in the Southwest. These are Alaskan. Below them, this little table is finally in a place where you might use it in a house. It's got lots of silhouettes because we have a lot of silhouettes in stock, and I don't have time to put everything up today. I'm going to be coming back over the weekend of Antique Fest, so come see me here if you're in the area, and we will have fun. This front display got done in a lot of brass. Brass and copper and metalwork is becoming popular. These are just beautiful. They were a lovely, lovely thing from 147 I Love Vintage. Nice Noritake luster piece in the middle there. A very cute Fenton tea set, and no, not the Fenton glass. This is, I'm hoping I can find the teapot, but I do have all the rest of the pieces. And this is Fenton in England, which was a porcelain maker, part of the Ballad in China company. So one of the great things about having a mall space is you get to meet people, and this is how you make new collectors. A woman came along. We had just put out 2 pieces of Fire King jadeite. They used to be right here. She wanted to know if they were the kind that glowed into black light because she actually did not want that feature. She also wanted to know how you can tell older Fire King from new and how you can distinguish it from Martha Stewart. And after we had a nice conversation, she said it's time to start collecting them because now she understands them better.
Because you never know. You never know. You want to dress up.
Not surprisingly, I have plenty to fill the space. This is a fun display because you just keep adding and changing it as kitchen ebbs and flows and other cute things spice in. It gets more and more fun and a lot of whimsy this time. Everything from Holt Howard to Japanese redware to a wind-up celluloid pig. who doesn't look very happy about being invited to breakfast. Some new desk stuff. Admiral Dewey. This is Royal Doulton before 1900. I just got this in Portland. Very pretty piece. It's supposed to look like tapestry, somewhat like the Royal Beirut of its time. But there are the various marks. But it does not say Royal Doulton. They did not have the Royal Ascent until 1903, and they could not call themselves Royal Doulton. This is B&O Railroad. This is a step to get on and off the train on the Baltimore and Ohio. Why did I bring it here? Well, because over all my displays, in the back, looking through all this pretty glass, is Centralia's Union Depot from 1912, and Amtrak lands right across the street 6 times a day. And a lot of rail fans come here and they collect. Again, this was more about add than change, but we added sleigh bells, and we added Idaho souvenirs, and we added this very fine pheasant from Germany. We already had the Kurok in, but this guy is new, and $20 for the whole set. You don't see those whole sets anymore. Also a bunch of Belique, and these are all black mark. Black mark is 1946 and prior, so a lot of these are from the 1920s, 30s, and 40s, much older than most Belique that we see, when it was finer and not produced in nearly the numbers it was later. This one has the lovely shamrock design, one of my favorites, and there are 4 sugar and creamers in sets, and an extra shamrock up on little stilts. We're not the only ones who've been working hard. Let's see what the neighbors have been up to. These folks have the Yankee Clipper. It looks like it's in great shape. $65 is the price they've always been. This is 1970 to my memory. Great mirror, $69. Great house frock. This is a relatively new dealer, and they just seem to have really interesting looking larger objects for using in your house or decorating. I like the stained glass very much. I'm going to take a quick look around town too. We're in the Northwest. How's that for a slab table? $12.95. That is gorgeous. Western is definitely the theme here in Centralia. There's another cool clock. This is Hazel Atlas floss, and I always liked the floss. It came in gold, it came in black, it came in other colors. It's just a really fun, random, very exciting, vibrant 1950s design. This is really pretty. This is a milk glass vase, of course, Victorian era, advertising Allen's perfumes. That is just gorgeous, priced at $300. There can't be more than a handful of those left. Sweet Burley tobacco, that one's priced at $2.85. That's in very, very nice condition. That matters a lot. An old Howard Miller clock in a Dutch style back in the 30s when we were cut off from trade from a lot of Europe. First through tariffs and then through war. And this great Art Nouveau leather purse with the lock key for $2.99. Love the cork lamps. They are $2.50 for the pair. That is not a bad price. The mirrors are English, especially these shield mirrors. This was popular to import to the United States about 30 years ago when I first started. This is Scottish Eastlake, and you'll notice it's a little less severe than American Eastlake. Eastlake was actually an English designer, and he was all about less ornamentation. This is really nice with the stippling and the color here, though. And this would have been made sometime as a little secretary desk with a mirror. Hello. And that would have been done sometime around 1860. Beautiful piece. And it's priced at $410, which is pretty reasonable, I would say, for what it is. Behind is a cool lithograph. This one is Kudu 2 by Claude McKinzer. This is an African gazelle, I believe. Elton Bennett, who we talked about recently in another video. We saw some of his work at the flea market outdoors in Portland at Rose City Vintage. We are going to duck in quickly to the Sadie Lady. They are one of the big sponsors of this event, and oh yeah, that guy there. Oh, how nice. So next door is now adjacently connected, and it has a nice little, it's a flower shop and granary, but this is such a neat idea. It also seems to have other essentials for the home, as well as antiques, vintage, and decorating items that are appropriate to kitchens. So this is cool. Very neat to see. They're always thinking of new things here. But we're going to come back into the main hall here, and it looks very fun and festive, and again, a nice combination of decorative and vintage items. This space here, I'm seeing a lot of fun pottery and a nice older, see, my Mexican blanket, saltillo, is synthetic, and this one is cotton. Arsenated lead, I would not stick my face into that. Neat looking McCoy vase here. That's a cool McCoy strawberry forcer for only $25. So there's some pretty good prices in here. I'd love to have the lid and the parts for this. Okay, well, Holly is going upstairs, but she just told me a bunch of information. She is the organizer of the show. You met her in last year's video. She has this shop, and she also has the Bordello Museum. Ooh, and she also has a nice tile table for $78. But meanwhile, and a nice Mexican piece, this console table, she said that they are getting big sales from customers from Arizona and California. They're selling a lot to dealers. They are selling big chunks of furniture, and there's a lot of interest in multiple sales, and that's interesting. She said they sold a very good designer chandelier for $300 that's probably worth $8 or $9. I may see it at the appraisal fair this weekend, so that'll be interesting. Bunch of very pretty orange Viking glass here, handkerchief vases, and these heavy three-toed bits. Look at the expression on this guy's face. Yeah, he is King Cat. Wow. Rhinestones and all. This is a pretty cute little Japanese piece. I'm not sure who made that one. We're not far from Portland, Oregon, where Norcrest was made. And if you're in the Portland area, you should come visit, because this is a fun little show and a great little event. And bring some stuff for me to look at. I'll appraise it for you. Nice McCoy butterfly piece here, $15.50. I'm going to show you in a moment where I'm going to be located. She just told me that they have moved me to a more central place this year. Here is Pine Street Plaza, and right next to the corner here is where I shall be. There will be vendors all down this street as well, so my view will be the view of the show, and I can't wait to show you what that's like. There's more antiques and vintage down there, plus a good Mexican restaurant and the very famous Olympic Club.
And if you need a really fun place to stay or to eat, well, this is it. The Olympic Club and the Oxford Hotel. This is owned by McMenamins Brew Pubs, but this was one of the 2 taverns that operated all through Prohibition in the state of Washington. This has been here since 1912. You can see one of the Tiffany chandeliers. Got a very interesting history and was a very expensive place to build in 1912. And thankfully it was renovated, and now it is open for tourists, guests, visitors, and antique collectors.
Up there is where the chief of police's sidecar was for many years. They bribed him so he would let them keep opening the bar. This is the new Centralia Square. Everything from Fiesta pitchers to glassware to, well, lots of cool stuff actually. And they are closed, but they will be open all weekend for the show. And this is Timeless Treasures. And she has a great shop. She's open till 6. I need to come in here and actually film. So I'm just going to show the outside today, but I will try to get back here and show you the inside, because she has a really cool store. The lighting that you see out in the front here is just the beginning. I like this brutalist piece. That looks like some sort of a good designer, and it's priced at $350. And I think it is a good designer. I'm trying to remember who it is. But lighting is definitely one of her specialties. We will come back and show you, because there's a lot of fun stuff in this store. It's been here a long time now. And then in the Old Elks Lodge, there is Ayala Brothers Antiques. It's a big mall as well. So there'll be lots to see. There'll be vendors in front of a lot of the malls selling. There will also be a whole bunch of people in the Pine Avenue area where I will be set up, and that will be blocked off. There'll be vendors and antique dealers and vintage folks and everybody down there. Selesky's Jewelry has a great selection of old timepieces and other vintage. This is a good art gallery. There's a wine bar.
Book, Bone and Stone has antiquarian books as well as more recent items, and they have some good specialty books that are collectors' references. This is a Northwest artist book. And the great thing is that when you're in an antique destination, people look everywhere. So you can have 2 bookstores right next to each other. Of course, this one really is a lot more than a bookstore, because they sell a lot of other things too, but they have vintage books in here as well. This place is Junkyard 23, and it's fun. They've got some vintage and antique and just a lot of things that really have a look to them. The jewelry boutique has been around for a long time. She was originally a dealer at Centralia Square, and then she rented this building and has been here for approximately 30 years. And she does have some really neat estate jewelry along with stones and crystals, and yes, some glass and collectibles, a cool Fenton alley cat there. We know people really like those. A nice old salt glaze pitcher here as well. So true antiques as well as collectibles and vintage. There's just a lot to see in this town. And then way up North Tower Avenue, behind this antique sign, is this place, and they do old bicycles and motorcycles as well as antiques and vintage, and they handle estate items. So just a lot of fun and different things to see here. In the summertime, the King Agricultural Museum occupies an old building down by the railroad tracks there that they've renovated, and it's a really interesting place. They've got old farm equipment and a lot of things that if you didn't grow up in an agricultural area, you might not really recognize or understand unless you go to a place like this. It's actually surprisingly interesting. I hope to get to film there sometime too. Well, I just got to meet a viewer who is a dealer here in town. She's really excited. She has a maritime painting she's going to bring for the appraisal fair. It's just going to be really great to be back here for a few days. So come on to Centralia I-5 exit 82, 3 miles into downtown, and you will find a whole world of antiques and vintage and me in the middle of it.